This is Gilbert Marosi. Today I'm going to be talking about essentially, what happened over at Twin Creeks, my property, which I bought on September of 2013. Okay, well, what it has to do with the fact is that besides, what I told you about, like DA Rosen, and Boyarsky, and open space, essentially fraudulently scamming me. There's another consideration, I want to tell you, which is about the main thing which happened is that 40 families were evicted from Twin Creeks, their home. Besides, I being scammed of $5 million by DA Rosen, the County of Santa Clara Supervisors, and open space. Essentially, what we're talking about, what I had told you before, is that it's a vicious scam by DA Rosen, County of Santa Clara Supervisors, open space to fraudulently label Twin Creeks an illegal property, evict 40 families from their home in Twin Creeks where they have been living in there, for about 5-10 years. Twin Creeks is a property which had been around, since 1923, and it was legal non-conforming, because it was built before building permits, were handed out. All right, so anyway, what happens, as I told you before, open space, had their eyes set on Twin Creeks, because they wanted to expand, their land, in Santa Clara County. So they talked to the county supervisor. How do we do this? How do we do this? I mean, so happens, that the former owner, Mr. Mako, he wanted to sell his property for like about $8 million. Twin Creeks is a beautiful property. We're talking about 153 acres, 40 cabins, and all those folks, living in there, happily, the middle of the woods, the hills, and so on and so forth. So what we do? Well, we just gotta wait, maybe something happened, the county told them. And then, this happened, like the Loma Prieta fire, came about, and, it was like close to Twin Creeks, and it was close enough, so the firemen, they were running out of water. They went into Twin Creeks, and they used the water from the well. And in so doing, they screwed up, like the water, and E. coli got into the water and contaminated the water. Okay, so then it was a big deal. The county found out about it, and they said, "Hey, Marosi, you got contaminated water." So they did it themselves. Okay, those were the county firemen. They blame me for this. Okay, so then what happened is that, that's when, they figured, they shit hit the fan. They said, this is the opportunity, to nail me and essentially, rip me off, the property, and kick out 40 families from their home. I mean, get this, 40 families, because they wanted to buy Twin Creeks on the cheap. Well, to make a long story short, they went and, posted signs, to each one of the cabins, saying, "Hey, this place is illegal. We got contaminated water. We got, the cabins are illegal, septic tanks, and so on and so forth." And what happened? They all left, and they sued me. They sued me, blaming me for this thing. But so happens that, and I found this out, in May of 2020. So we're talking about 7 years later, I found out that if a seller sells a property on the basis of fraud, well, the sales contract is void, which means I was never the legal owner of Twin Creeks, so therefore I could not be sued. All right, well, they went and they sued me Anyway, and I didn't know this at the time, and they essentially, I lost my property. 40 families got kicked out fraudulently by the county and open space. So what does DA Rosen have to do about it? Why am I saying that he is responsible for this? He's part of the deal. Because when I filed with DA Rosen for him to prosecute the county supervisors and open space, he didn't do a goddamn thing. Well, so if he didn't do a goddamn thing, when he has to, what does that mean? He's part of the deal. Okay, which means that, like before they did this, open space and the county, they consulted with Rosen and asked him, can we do this? Can Marosi do anything? And he said, don't worry, I'm going to go ahead and squelch any of his attempts, to stop this. So that's what they did. So when I told Rosen, to prosecute the county and open space, he said, screw you, Marosi. I'm not going to do this. I don't give a shit about the 40 families, that got kicked out. That's too bad. Tough luck. I don't like you anyway, Marosi. Well, that's what happened. Okay, so just so that you know, I told you the story. Thank you very much.